I've been working on my book to try to finish it, and so I'm going to start using my Facebook and some of my other social media to start promoting my book a little bit. Some of you have already heard some of these stories over the years, and me in the middle of trying to inspire other people to keep up doing what they're doing, or try something different, or whatever it may be. So I'm going to pick a subject every Sunday, and I'm going to talk about it, a subject that relates to me, and it's going to be real, and I'm going to tell you how it's going to be real, because a lot of you that are on my page or that see the video can contest that you've seen this about me over the years that you've known me. Today we're going to talk about the subject of materialistic. You know, I've heard even through my ex-wives that I'm materialistic. Well, really just through one of my ex-wives. The other one saw me in the very depth of the struggle of not having nothing, because she was with me, and that would be Amy. Amy was living with me in and out of motels up and down Broadway. She's gonna live with me when we didn't have a bed to sleep in. We had to sleep on the fucking floor. You know, while I'm in work release, coming home for visits on the weekend, on passes, or community corrections residential when it was on Emporia Street, and I get to come home for maybe 5-6 hours, and we play dominoes or cards or something on the fucking floor. Yeah, so she's on this page. She knows that struggle. You know, she understood why I'm so materialistic. Materialistic is, you hear some people say something about he's always capping. In other words, the way they mean it is that I always have to have the latest of everything, and I'm always riding down the road acting stupid, or holding the lane out on the 21st Street or 13th, or busting U-turns in the middle of the fucking intersection with my motherfucking trucks and cars, or whatever I may do. And some people may, you know, some people may think that I'm an asshole, or I've had some people ask me why I can't leave factory paint on my car. Why does every car I got to have to go to the paint shop? Because for years it couldn't. Even if I wanted to, it couldn't. I remember even as a kid, and those of you who don't know that I've been locked up since I was 10. You know, you see these numbers on my arm, and you see this TYC on my arm, Texas Youth Commission. That was my mama and daddy. So while you was going to school, or when you went to middle school or junior high, I didn't. I was locked up in Brownwood, Giddings, Crockett, Corsicana. Name one of those facilities, Gainesville. And one of those facilities, or one of those halfway houses in Texas, the Nueces House in Corpus Christi, the Aries House in San Antonio, the Valley House in Harlingen, Texas, which is on the border of Mexico. Or when I was a kid, 9 years old, I was in the Esperanza home in Brownsville, Texas, on the border of Mexico. Okay? Well, I didn't have any clothes. I had what we call state issue clothes. So TYC, if the kid came in there and didn't have clothes, they would give him some until they could get some from his parents, until they got him in a place. Well, they never had no parents to come get anything from me. Over the years, most juveniles would come in, and they would spend a year or two at the most, and they were going home. Usually from a juvenile hardline facility like Brownwood, Giddings, or Crockett, and they would go to a halfway house, Nueces House, you know, Aries House, Beetle House in McAllen, Texas, one of those halfway houses, and they would work their way home. Me, that never happened. The best I could hope for a home was that halfway house. Everything I had was in a fucking shoebox. You ever seen Paid in Full? When the dude was taking his jewelry off and laying everything real nice and neat, and using the toothbrush to clean the shoes, that was me. I always cleaned my shoes with toothbrush and toothpaste, and I always got my shoes from guys that were going home. You know, and it felt bad for me. And they were like, hey, girl, you know, you want these Nikes or these Adidas or British Knights? When British Knights were out, I always dreamed I'd get me a pair of British Knights, and I did finally, from another guy who was going home, and they were 2 sizes too big, but I wore them motherfuckers every day. So every time I got to get into a fight with somebody, the first thing that happens is when you're in the day room or you're out on the yard playing ball, whatever it is you're doing, and the fight breaks off, whoever's in the dorm hears that Earl and so-and-so's outside fighting, and they know that I'm not coming back to that cell or that room, because after a fight, they take you to a different facility. Well, that's the time everybody goes to your room and takes your shit. Whatever you may have in that box is gone. And you won't know this for another month or two until all your personal belongings are brought to you in your new location, and they hand it to you, so you never know who took your shit. So I got smart. Every time I knew I was going to get into it with somebody, I held my composure as long as I could, and I went down to the office and I asked the staff to give me a bag so I could put my certain things I want to send home. And I always made sure it was a staff member that didn't know I didn't have a home. So they would give me the bag, I would bag all of my important shit up, take it down to the office and ask them if they could tag it and put it in my property so that I can get my caseworker to send it home. When they're in the middle of doing that, I'm out the door to the yard, to the basketball court, wherever I have my problem with that person, day area, or maybe down at the end of the hallway where we go into one of the rooms and do what we got to do. So I figured that out. So all those little things in that shoebox, a couple of cassettes, maybe an old Freddie Jackson cassette, New Edition when they came out. Those cassettes meant shit to me. I love music. Okay, so. And at the end of the day, that's all I had. So when it was gone, it was gone. So when I got grown and I went to the penitentiary and then I came out, came to Kansas, it was hard. It was really hard because I had nothing. And I walked to work every day. I didn't have shit. So I had to come up with a mindset and a plan for me to get what I want. At first, it was armed robbery. Some of y'all know. Been to prison with me. I had a couple armed robbery cases, and I tried my hand at selling dope. I didn't care for that too much. After a while, I just didn't feel right. I felt dirty every fucking day. It was just too much. When you see the people you're victimizing every fucking day, and they in your face, because I was out there on Broadway. Okay, I wasn't moving no big time dope. I was out there with the fiends. 20 bagging it, dime bagging it, whatever. So at the end of the fucking day, all I can tell you is that shit, if you have any kind of conscience, it'll wear on your shit. So it did, and I had to do something else, so I went back. Then some of y'all remember me when I worked for Omar Finney at 24 Rent to Own way back in the day. That was my first great job, and was by a great dude that had a lot of fucking knowledge. Very smart dude. Omar Finney is a very, very, very intelligent man who never had a GED or none of that, but taught me a whole lot. Then, Pimpin' Twan, when I met him in the 90s, he taught me a different way to get money. Working with these girls and doing escort services, doing all that shit. That was another thing that I learned how to do for a while, and then that didn't wear on so well. But the opportunity, when I said that legitimate opportunity would present itself, I would jump on it. I was not going to sit around doing bullshit the rest of my fucking life. I've already got a bad hand, no education, no fucking GED. I don't got none of that shit, And I had to find a way to make things happen. When Gold Teeth came along, man, I flipped that shit and ran it from any direction I could, to the point I made myself in the newspaper. I put a couple articles on the internet. If you look up Earl Cadillac Hunter, you see my picture in the Orange County Register. That's out in LA. All that was for me selling myself to try to make something. Then I took that money and got my CDL. But everything from here on out, jewelry, I'm going to try to do best to get the best I can. After I take care of my kids and my wife, I make sure that I'm able to hold my head up. When you see me pull up, you will know which car is mine out in the parking lot. It may not be no brand new, don't get me wrong, but it'll be loud, and you can guarantee that when you walk up, you can pick my vehicle out of everybody in the parking lot, which one it is. It's going to have Vogues on it. It's going to have candy paint. Look at every vehicle I got sitting in my yard. Everything except for this big rig got Vogues on it and candy paint. Jewelry, clothes. I've been doing these Crown Royal jeans lately. They have bought a pair for $300. I can't believe that I spent $300 on a pair of jeans. But everybody's taken care of. Now I can hold my head up. So yes, I'm materialistic. Putting the stereo in my car, I want the best. You know, everything. Even on this big rig that I've been working on, I put the best of everything I can together. When I done suffered enough of my life, I didn't have Christmases, Thanksgivings, birthdays. You know, somebody would say, hey, happy birthday. I might, if I was in a juvenile facility, a staff member might hand me an extra snack or something for my birthday. That was it. Okay? So I'm hardened when it comes to that. I don't let my family feel that. When they comes time, I make sure I do everything I can. My wife gets a purse every fucking holiday, Mother's Day, Easter, Christmas, and her birthday. All of them. She gets a really nice ass purse, $400 or $500. Then she gets a bottle of perfume from Dillard's, and I make sure she gets flowers, and I make sure that I handle my business like I'm supposed to. Same thing with my daughter. I take real good care of her. So at the end of the day, I got to get out here every day and do this. This is great for me. I don't give a fuck. I'll work until I can. But when this don't work, then I'm back to doing that other shit. You remember all the time you see me with the bootleg services and running around selling the cologne oils and handing out the gold teeth cards? I've always been about my motherfucking money and my hustle. I mean, goddamn, for 48 years, okay? And the people that know me can say, yeah, I know that motherfucker was always running around doing something. That's what it was. When I was out there hitting construction sites and fucking them up for their tools and shit, people probably thought I was on crack. I don't do no fucking drugs. I just started drinking here a couple years ago, okay? So I don't do none of that shit, because I never gave none of you sorry motherfuckers an avenue to get at me. Never. Never. You know, I put candy paint on everything I can because I can, like Zero said. Now I can. I'm far from being rich. And sometimes I don't even have the money to make those paint jobs and buy them. I got other hustles besides when I was doing just the teeth. I had other things in the works. Okay? And there was always a way for me to con somebody and make something happen. Now I don't have to do that no more. Now I can actually pay my own way. This truck, this is me. I'm an owner-operator. I've already paid one off. That white one I used to have. Okay? This is what I do every day. And this book is an opportunity to give me my life back that was taken from me as a child and as a teenager and even as a young man. When I came, after coming through all that bullshit, you would have thought I would have had a break, but it wasn't. Now I got to get out here in the real world as an adult and figure out how to pay bills and all that bullshit. And I sucked at it. I didn't know what to do. Man, if it wasn't me for God, I wouldn't be here today. That's all I got to say. That's really the truth. So, you know, next Sunday I'll probably tell some other stories of what happened to me before I even got there. But that's just an example. So am I materialistic? Yes. I like to have my jeans starched. Right now I'm in these work clothes. I like to have my Coogee shit starched. All my shit goes to the cleaners. None of my shit gets washed at home. I am going to buy some machines and stuff so I can start starching all my shit. Some of them press machines. We had one a long time ago. I'm going to buy another one and start starching my own shit again, because these cleaners be fucking your shit up sometimes. But what I can tell you is that I've been to the very, very fucking bottom. I've been to the bottom where a gallon of milk and bread was a fucking luxury. Okay? So I done worked at those temporary services for I don't know how long. And I'm talking about the ones that paid minimum wage. I done went through all that bullshit. The tears, the frustration, the scared all the time of what's going to happen tomorrow. Am I going to be able to provide for people? Am I going to violate my parole? Am I going back, you know, to Texas? Am I going back to, am I going to prison here in Kansas now? What is it? You know, I don't know what the next day brings. I stayed away from weed and drinking back then because I didn't want to give them an opportunity to PV me. You know, and they would find the stupidest shit to PV me. One time they found a bullet in one of my old drawers after searching all my house. And my ex-wife's on here. She remembers. Went in my fucking drawer, dug through one of my tool drawers and found a fucking bullet, an AK-47 bullet, and parole violated me for it. Yeah. So I can tell you that I done been down that fucking road. You know, I done been caught motherfucker that made me step out there like that, and I'm losing my life behind some words. And by the grace of God, before I got there, it resolves. You know, usually for a phone call or the person didn't show up, and later on they got at me and we squashed it. I've been blessed. I've been really blessed. So at the end of the day, I try to stay away from all the fuckery. And at the same time, if you see me with some candy paint or some gold tires, first of all, I'm not no threat to nobody. Most of my vehicles are all older vehicles. They were things that I wanted back in the day. I've had the opportunity to get newer shit, but I don't like all the computers and electronics and shit that are going these cars now, man. They're expensive to keep fixed up. That's crazy, man. But at the end of the day, if I can buy me a Fleetwood or a Chevy Caprice or something, that's where I'm at. That's my mind. So, I'm not no threat to nobody. I'm not nobody to worry about, by far. Let me live. To me, it's new. It's new to me. It may not be new to you. And you may think I'm capping, and you are so far from the fucking truth, because I'm the most humblest person you'll ever meet. Ask anybody who really knows me. I congratulate everybody. Even when they have less than I do, I congratulate them, because I know where their potential may take them based on where I've done been. And they may go further than me. So at the end of the day, there are a bunch of stories like this that are going to be in my book, and proof. Not just my word, paperwork, other guys that have been either locked up with me or whatever. You know, I got a video right now I posted the other day of a dude that was locked up with me when we was kids in Texas. I got another guy I've been writing to that's in the penitentiary in Texas that was locked up with me as an adult. So I can tell you that everything I say, people will confirm that it's the truth. So not only that, you can listen to a story and tell if you've been there yourself, you can tell if this person is genuine or not. So I decided to start doing this every Sunday because hopefully by the end of the spring, my book will be done and we'll be on our way to getting it published and whatever. I'm using that book to get back things that were taken away from me years ago so that I can use the things that this book may provide to take care of me and my family from here on out. This truck drive is not always going to be for me because, you know, I got a bad back. Some drunk driver hit me a while back. Some of y'all know who that was. Some young dude ran into me and messed up my back in an accident on Pawnee Street. Fucked me for life. But I'll still get out here every fucking day until I just cannot walk no more. Until then, I will crawl. I'll do whatever the fuck it is that I got to do to make sure that the people around me are taken care of. When they are not taken care of, hopefully, by the blessing of God,